Well, I'm going to attempt to be brief on this video, but it may not be brief. But I'm going to go on to. I never really wanted to put this video out, and I knew about this for some quite time, but it's a little bit too far down the rabbit trail, or down the rabbit hole. But it's probably true as a heart attack. First off, I want to tell you that, mankind itself, if you look at the Bible, there's a lot of strange things in the Bible, in the Old Testament and New Testament or whatever. You really should take it quite literally. When there's a lot, I know atheists hate that Bible, but don't dismiss it as being inaccurate. I'm not religious. I'm not a holy roller. I'm not a Bible thumper, but there were very smart people that wrote down the historical accounts in the Bible. When it's saying there were giants in those days, take it literally, okay? Also, a lot of the ancient cultures, or American native peoples, or things that were accounts that were written in the country of India about battles taking place in the sky and things like that. Take it quite literally. It's not, when people were talking to Greeks, we're talking about the gods. Take it quite literally. One of the best proofs we have that there was other beings on this planet, not us, that were far more intelligent, industrious, and knowledgeable, is the Great Pyramids of Egypt. But there's also pyramids in Bosnia. There's pyramids in Antarctica. I know some people say it's just a mountain, but there's also structures in South America, Peru, high up on a mountain. I think they were discovered in 1911. I'm not going to go over all this stuff, but these were created by advanced beings. Now, if you look at the ancient Sumerian text, I know, I've seen this. I know, I was reminded of it again, but I knew about this stuff. I can tell you a lot of different things. But if you look at the ancient Sumerian text, history, basically it's the whole entire quote-unquote Old Testament. It's about the creation of Adam and Eve, the Garden of Eden, the flood stories in there, the whole 9 yards, right? But the difference is we were actually created by an advanced species from another planet. I mean, it's a given that Darwin is wrong. That's a fact. The scientists and the anthropologists, they keep looking for the missing link. There's never going to be a missing link. Get the hell out of here. It's like we just came upon this earth real quick. It was like, wham, here we are. Now, I guess you can go down another rabbit hole and say that was because of cosmic radiation or something that affected our DNA drastically, but I don't know. And I guess you can make up any freaking excuse for anything. But according to the Sumerian text, we were literally created. Now, boy, YouTube's going to hate me for this shit, but, I'm going to tell you what the Sumerian text said. The Sumerian text said the black race was created first, then the white race. And, I think it's anthropology does say that the black race was older than us. I'm a white guy, Italian, whatever the hell it is. But white. And they said they did a better job on us, the white Caucasians. Now, I'm leading up to a point, not about racial superiority or whatever, but my point on this video is, why are the Caucasian race being targeted for extermination? Different ways. I mean, you can see, like in Sweden, they're dumping everybody in there, in Europe, and all this kind of stuff, right? You're throwing a white guilt on everybody. I don't think it's the communists, the liberals, all this bullshit. I'm going to tell you what I think. It's a little bit of a conjecture, but if you really dig into, I'm not one of these people that goes into UFOs and alien stuff, but I can tell you there's a lot of smart people, a lot of reliable people that have been in the military, the Navy, the Air Force. They'll tell you that they had spotted aliens. You had the stories from Phil Snyder about Area 51. You also got the stories from back in the 1930s about Los Angeles, finding underground caves with, other beings that live underground. And there's a lot of stories out there. I personally think that there's actually other beings that are living in the earth. And, that's some of the stuff that's in the Bible, too. The Old Testament. And I think there's one problem that another species might have with the human race is if we get too strong. And the one group, subspecies of the human race that is actually, it's a fact. I mean, I'm not saying all the Caucasians are real smart. There's a lot of dumb ones out there. I know that, but Chinese or Asians are actually, on average, the Asians are more intelligent on. But you know what it is? There's another aspect of Caucasians that, if you're looking at, if you're going down the rabbit hole and you're saying there's another species out there trying to hold back the human race, there's one aspect of Caucasians that's a problem to them. Caucasians are very independent-minded and self-reliant and don't like to, in other words, like when I was in Asia, I noticed in Japan or whatever the hell it was, it seems like, I swear to God, man, every group's got their own little thing, man. But if it was a white people, they'd be like, give me like 5 acres of land. I want to live up in the mountains. I want to be living by the lake. I want to, I don't want to be crowded in the cities. Asians like being crowded. I noticed this, generally speaking. And there's a sense of community, family, but also compliance with authority. Now, everybody's kind of got that, and but Caucasians don't have that too much. But the thing is, Caucasians are smart and they don't like to comply with authority. But what's been going on recently, if you look at all the inventions that happened over, say, even the last 20 years, 50 years, or 100 years, God, there's been so much, and it's pretty much always a white person doing it. I mean, the average white person is probably not that super smart, but every once in a while, and I swear to God, I think it's because within the white Caucasian race, there's still elements of this higher species DNA that comes out and manifests itself stronger in certain members, like Nikola Tesla. Another guy I could show you here is Royal Rife. He's over here with his Rife beam ray machine with Philip Hoyland, I think that guy is. Too many, like if you look, like in other words, most white people are not really super smart or anything, but if you're looking at, the real ones that are the shining stars, it's usually coming out of the white race. But the problem is, it's not just that. Usually whites are freaking fiercely independent. And what I'm thinking is, there is some other species on this earth right now. Now, David Icke, I always call him Icke because I don't like the guy, but David Icke talks about this, and I think this guy is kind of like, if he was really telling the exact truth, he would have been dead, but he's more or less giving you a roundabout truth to what's going on. He's saying that, like, about royalty in England and what it's really linked to. Now, quite honestly, you're going to think I'm full of crap, but it does apply to quite a few people. It's not just me. I am actually, my great-grandfather was the illegitimate son of Duke Albert Edward, who later became Edward VII. I knew this stuff way back. We knew this from 100 years ago. You get no money for it, so nobody gives a crap about it anymore. It's like, so what? It's like knowing that plus $5 gets you a cup of coffee in Starbucks. It doesn't mean anything. But the only thing it does mean is that I got some of that DNA. And I swear to God, I've always clicked with some of the most aggressive, power-hungry, and they're nice guys, though, but that's always I always click with. I was always there doing their accounting work, and not just accounting, but a lot of different things. Full asset protection. But I got to say that I think what's really going on, because a lot of people wonder, what the hell's going on? Why the hell is it like, you go in Sweden, right? Somebody comes from someplace else, they're an immigrant, the guy, 20 guys raped this female, and like the news is like, you can't say nothing, man. Yeah, and YouTube will say this too. It's hate speech. Yeah, whatever, man. It's not hate speech. But what's going on is like, there's like, the Caucasians are being targeted. But it's not like what the conservative yo-yos think. It's probably wilder than you want to imagine. I don't like going down this freaking trail too much because somebody will say, "You're crazy. You need freaking electroshock therapy and give you 220 volts to the head and fry your brain." But I don't think it's that crazy because some of these things. First off, you got the ancient Sumerian text telling us, who the hell actually created us. And actually the ones that came out according to the ancient Sumerian text, the ones that came out the best, according to our creators, which were, species from another planet, people that built the pyramids, people that built a lot of these temples. I mean, I forgot all this. I mean, there's a lot of different things out there. There's like these big granite blocks. They're like 100 tons, like within a thousandth of an inch smoothness. There's so much stuff that they left on this earth that no way in hell did we build it. No way. Sorry. But what I'm driving at is that if you look at what's been going on, the progression of technology and where the human race is going, who the hell is really getting the stuff out there? And also, even if you look medically, and I swear they're going to put a lid on this stuff too. Just like, with Royal Rife. I was talking about Royal Rife over here. Got it to develop a machine that can clobber cancer, which I got a spooky toe which can clobber cancer, so I got that. But the thing is, every time somebody came out with something, they come out with this big war. In other words, Rife was coming out with this in the 30s. You had George Lakowski with the multi-wave oscillator, which he got the ideas from Nikola Tesla and stuff, but he put it together. He made it happen. When he patented the device in September 1939, same time Hitler was invading Poland, with Lakowski. That was something that can extend human life by decades besides heal the body. I like it even better than the Royal Rife machines. Every time something's really good coming out, bam. Now, today, they got ways where they're almost sure they're going to be able to lengthen the telomeres in our chromosomes, and we will have, we'll be 90 years old and be 22. A reverse age, for crying out loud. Some of the technology is actually very promising. They're making leaps and bounds in. But say what happens if you got very intelligent people that stay young and vibrant for 500 years. Could you imagine, like in other words, your productive years are like pretty short. You got to go to school. You got to learn learn what you're doing in your science or your whatever field of endeavor you chose. And then by the time you really get good at it, you start getting old and slowing down. But say you've been around, you can hang around for 300 more years being like a real young person. Think how smart, think of what that person's going to invent. So like in other words, the human race is going to be taking a quantum leap here pretty soon. But it's not the human. I don't think anybody in the human race wants the human race to slow down. They want everybody to live longer. They want everybody to have more. Everybody's pretty much like that. I mean, that's generally the consensus. But there's some kind of power out there that's stopping it. Now, some people would say religion and say it's the devil and all this garbage. I don't really think it's that. I think it's actually another race of people that are probably people, if you want to call them that, species, that are living on this earth, under the earth, which, you hear about all the stories from Area 51. You hear about the American Native Indian folklore, about people living under the earth, in caves and stuff. And you also, if you look at some of the stories out there, what happened with Phil Snyder and all the things he told about it, what happened, what happens underground with the deep underground military bases. I think there's a lot more going on. They won't let the public know about this because, first off, it would blow apart religion, which, another thing, if you really want to dig into, hidden knowledge, the Vatican, I'm Roman Catholic, okay, but the Vatican has, 53 miles of archives underground that nobody can really see unless they request a specific reference, and then it's got to go through something, and it's like it's hidden. In other words, they don't scan all that stuff and put it out electronically on the internet for people to review. You know why? Because they're hiding a lot of stuff and really what's going on, where the human species came from, probably. Now, I'm not saying I'm an atheist, okay? What I'm saying is, you know, we were created by something else. Probably not. I mean, the Bible's telling you it's God, but it's really a species. If you look at Sumerians were first before the Old Testament, but then something created, you know, the people that created us. You know what I mean? Basically, we're just a bunch of damn gerbils compared to the people that freaking created us. You know, one gerbil, and I can say this. You know, I'm talking about the Asian race, the black race, and the Caucasian race. We're still all a bunch of gerbils compared to some of the other guys that created us. But the thing is, the Caucasian race, and I'm not trying to say like, ooh, rah, 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 the Caucasian race. What I'm saying is, there's something else, not the human race, that's trying to hold back the Caucasians. I don't think it's anybody in the human race. I mean, they're playing games. I think Soros is privy to all this crap, to tell you the truth. I think there are actually some other being that doesn't want the human race to progress that far because it's a threat to their existence. That's what I think. Maybe. I ain't 100% sure, but you know what? It's a hunch. And then maybe somebody say, you went down the rabbit trail too far, the rabbit hole. Yeah, maybe. But then again, who knows? And, you know, just food for thought. But you know what? There's been a lot of very reliable, sane people that were, you know, maybe they're crazy because they were in the military, but, you know, they were naval officers. They never, you know, made up any stories about bullshit. And, you know, if you look on YouTube, you can find loads of stuff, not going down the UFO trail too much, but you can find loads of stuff where they got conventions where people get together. There were pilots, officers, they were, I don't know, in the Navy, there were submarine commanders, I don't know. And they'll tell you there's UFOs. Even Buzz Aldrich. I think you can find, you know, the former astronaut, he's dead now, but I think you can find a video where he'll tell you there's aliens. He tells you, yeah, there's aliens. I know it for a fact. And he wrote it down. But you can find, I think there's a YouTube video somewhere on it. But you know, say for instance, well, think of it this way. I don't know, like think of it like you got a bunch of wolves or something, right, in your town. And you're like, well, or dogs or something. Dogs, right? Dog, at least use dogs. And make believe you're like the advanced being, and you're the humans, and they're like the dogs, right? That's like them to us and whatever. Good analogy, maybe. And all of a sudden, these dogs are getting really freaking smart, man. They're knowing how to open your door on your house, and they go in there and they open your refrigerator and eat your food. And they grab the blankets off your freaking bed and they pull them out and they take them out in the woods and they lay down on them and they say, "Yeah, thanks for the blanket." You know what I mean, right? Now, what would you be thinking? I don't want these dogs being that damn smart, right? I mean, it's kind of like, I kind of think that's the analogy of what's going on here. Because, man, you look at everything that's been going on, and you know, some of this stuff is BS, but not all of it is. Like Royal Rife with his beam ray that knocks out cancer, Nikola Tesla with his wireless electricity, which is, you know, that's the pyramids, right? That was the wireless electricity back then. That's really what these damn things were for. You know, it's like the Wardenclyffe Tower. Look at, again, George Zlotowski. But then, there's a lot of things that have been suppressed. And you're thinking, why? What the hell's a beef? They don't want, it's like, there's something going on. It's not, I don't think it's humans just for profit and greed doing this only. I think there's something else going on. And, you know, it's every time these things are starting to come out and there's this big ray of hope, there's this major conflict, like World War I, World War II, probably World War III. And I know the knee-jerk reaction is to blame the Rothschilds. Bullshit. No way. Okay? You know, Rothschilds got gazillion mansions out there. They don't want to be having them blown up and being radioactive. I can tell you that right now. And, you know, you're going to think I'm on crack for saying this, but, you know, if you look at what Lord Greg Howlett says, the actual father of Duke Albert Edward was Lionel Nathan Rothschild. So that make him my third great grandfather. Me, direct lineage from my mom's side. Now, from my dad's side, I got the Confederacy and the U.S. American Revolution and all that wonderful stuff, right? But you see, I think there's, I'm not trying to put anybody down here, but, think about it. I don't know what the hell it is. There's something with the white race. They're smart. Not everybody. But there's always some really super, super smart ones. Like, I mean, you might hate Bill Gates, but the guy's not dumb. You know what I mean? I mean, if you look even at, look at the Leonard Stern School of Business. You ever go do a Wikipedia on that and look at all the guys that came out of that damn thing. They're all white guys. Man, they freaking control everything. I was almost going to put a video out about it. They're the other skull and bones you don't think about, but they're not bad. They do a lot of good things. The guy that developed PayPal, and I think another one developed eBay, and I'm like, yeah, I use PayPal and eBay, whatever, great, thank you. But, it's the freak. But I don't really like. To tell you the truth, I really don't like the highfalutin, because I'm deliberately talking like a working class smo on this for sure. Now, don't call me a redneck because I'm from New Jersey near New York. Freaking some jackass calls me a redneck on YouTube. I get so pissed off. I kind of like the country bunking stuff. It's fun. But I'm from New Jersey. I was born and raised in New Jersey near New York, for crying out loud. God, man, New York City, not far. I can see the Empire State Building from wherever we live. But, what's going on, man? I swear I don't think it's anybody. In a roundabout way, there's David. I call him David Icke, but he's David Icke. In a roundabout way, he's right. But obviously, he can't be telling you the whole truth because he would be dead a long time ago if he really was telling the truth. But in a roundabout way, he's telling you the truth. There's some other freaking species on this earth that doesn't want us to progress. And the ones that are really leading the charge, I could say the Asians are generally smarter than the whites, But let me say this. The whites are more unruly, Like if you told a bunch of white people, you better conform, to be like, half of them would say, fuck that. I mean, at least, excuse me, YouTube. But you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? There's a strong independent streak. I noticed like there's a lot of. I was in Japan over 6 years, man, for one, and also in other parts. I was in Korea so many months, and I didn't go to China, but whatever. I was in Okinawa, which has got Chinese influence, but Philippines. But there's a hell of a lot of conformity over there. I mean, a lot, loads of it. You don't see that too much in Caucasian-like countries, man. No. And that's a problem to some people. And I don't think it's the people. I think it's to another species. So, in other words, if we get too damn strong and too smart, and all of a sudden we're living, thousands of years old and staying young, and we got, we can take off and take a weekend trip to Mars because we know how to get there real fast because we develop stuff. I think there's other species around that don't want that to happen with us. They want to keep us down. They want tell you the truth, I don't want to go down too many trails on this stuff, but I think there's other reasons why other species need us. I don't want to go down that trail, but you can comment on that if you want to. But I'm just throwing some ideas out here because I can tell you right now, man, there's stuff that's going on that is just so much hidden in the reality of our history. It's beyond belief. First off, when I look at, what? I'll tell you this. Story with Jesus. I like Jesus. I get aggravated at Christians like crazy. Oh, God, they drive me nuts sometimes. But Jesus, I like Jesus. I think Jesus was a great Jewish healer. He was trying to teach the way. He was telling you to do stuff, not just freaking have faith and sit on your ass. He was telling you to do stuff, take action, and he was a healer. He had chi energy. He can heal people. I think he was like, he's not the only guy that could do that, actually, probably. But, Jesus was legit because he never took the money. In other words, the devil tempted him. Hey, I can give you all these kingdoms, and Jesus said, "No way, no thanks." He was legit. Now, as far as him, he's great. It's good to listen to all the red words out of the King James Bible. Was he the Messiah? I don't know. I mean, it doesn't agree. The story out of the Old Testament, the real Torah, Talmud, it doesn't. He's not the Messiah. But you know what? I don't think there's any Messiah. There's no Messiah coming. Jews think there's a Messiah coming. I don't think there's any Messiah. There's nothing. It's just us. We figure it out. And I think there's some kind of spirit life after death. Fine. I agree with that. But I don't really agree with all the former religion stuff. You know what I mean? That's how I think, period. It's like Practical app with all this garbage, And I don't, I think we got to get away from all this religion garbage. Now, I personally like Jews better than anybody because they take action. In other words, they got to atone for their sins, and in other words, it's not like Jesus shed his blood for me, so everything's fine. Not all Christians are like that, but that aggravates the hell out of me. Anyway, but I don't even exist. I don't think there's no Messiah coming in the future. The Jewish people say there is a Messiah coming in the future. Yeah, whatever. And I could tell you one thing. Another thing. I got a lot of stuff on my great grandfather, who was like the illegitimate son of Duke Albert Edward. But one thing that screams to me, like it was a given hint, by the gods, if you will. Birthday, 11/22, November 22nd, 11/22, 11/22, 33, right? 1865, 1 and 8 is 9, 6 and 5 is 11. 33 to 9/11. And he's got the freaking numerology up the yin-yang. And there's a lot of stuff I can go into about him, how he was, that I'm not going to do. But, he's a simple guy in some ways. But in other ways, there was a lot of hints that there was something different about him. Big time. And there's a lot of stuff in my family. Some people in my family say we got a real screwed up family, the Italian side, because it's almost diabolical to the max. And I think some of it's all from where it really came from. Some of that DNA is in there. So I got a blend. I got a blend of, and not everybody's like that, but I got a blend of that and the Confederacy and because my dad was Mr. 110% honest to the max. And I got that blend too. But, I don't think that it's like what these conservatives are thinking. Oh, the liberals and the communists are holding back. Now, I think there's something else. I think it may actually be another species. Because, you know what? I never seen an alien. I never talked to an alien. But there's a lot of freaking, not that I get into all that freaking UFO stuff, but there's a lot of proof out there of their existence and them being highly technologically evolved, way beyond us. And that could very well be where we got some of our technology from. But, the ancient Sumerian text tells you. I knew these stories way back when. And I also know all about the pyramids, the accuracy of the pyramids. There's actually when they were, I don't want to get, you can go down the rabbit trail 8 million miles with this, but it's not just about the pyramids, but the pyramids are all over the freaking world. There's lots of structures out there that humans didn't build. And if you look in South America, they got skulls of people that are like this really big long head. It wasn't because they taped their head up, because like in Africa they taped their head up to make the skull longer. These skulls were like, the volume was much, much bigger. They had huge brains. It was another species. We were made in their image and likeness from existing animals that are on this earth. And, the one, we're all a bunch of damn gerbils, basically, okay? I'm not saying anybody's like, that's special. But the one part of the gerbils that is a threat to the other beings that are higher up than us is the Caucasian gerbils, man. And because the Caucasian, there's some Caucasian gerbils that are very, 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 very smart and develop stuff. And it's like we're hitting a point where we're getting on a real stride, where we're going to be taking quantum leaps. And if I already, I know the tech billionaires brag that they're going to live thousands of years. They probably will, because they're on the cusp of finding technology that can reverse age. Now, if that happens, and you're talking about, could you imagine Nikola Tesla or Royal Rife living 1,000 years? What could that guy have invented? Got it? See what I mean? Now, would that not make us a problem to certain, the people that maybe created us? Yeah. Maybe there's a few of them left over here, in the earth. Because maybe that stuff about Area 51 and Phil Snyder and all the Indian folklore stuff about what's in the caves. I mean, I don't know. You can go down this rabbit trail all different ways. You could take 50 million journeys down whatever path you want to go. So I don't want to go too far, but it's just food for thought. That there is a concerted effort to destroy and the white Caucasian race in this world. And somebody's going to say, well, that's because you freaking did all this and that. No. Every race does that shit. You know what I mean? Does all bad stuff. I'm just saying is, if you're looking at who actually is, not that everybody, definitely not everybody in the white race is real smart, but if you look at once in a while, there's some like these super geniuses that show up. It's usually out of the white race. But the other problem is this: the Caucasians are too independent. You can't, it's like you can't tell them what the hell to do. I think the Asians are smarter, generally speaking, but they're far more socially orientated and compliant. See what I mean? Think that's what's going on, man. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, Susan, whatever your name is, Susan Hayward. No, I don't know. That's the actress. Susan Hayward. You want to look like Susan Hayward, Susan? You probably would. Anyway, I just food for thought, man. You comment all you want on this thing, because it's an angle that nobody's really putting out. I'm not actually putting it out that serious, but, and I got to tell you, in a roundabout way, very roundabout, is David Icke. I call him Icke. David Icke is basically kind of telling you the truth. He obviously is not telling you the full truth, because if he was telling you the full truth, he'd be dead. Like Alex Jones, if he was telling you the full truth, he'd be dead too, right? But let me tell you this: I got some of that. I don't know, that DNA, man. I don't think Rothschilds are bad guys, man. To tell you the truth, I'd work for the Rothschilds and be like, hey, I'd be like, you know what I'd be doing? You guys are, it burns me up, man. Freaking, what's his dipstick's name? Was always trying to get an interview for We Are Change or whatever his name is. Luke Janowski, whatever his name was. Yeah, if I was ever to have an interview with a Rothschild, you know what I'd be saying? Hey, why don't you just make growing hemp in your backyard legal so we can, whatever. Wouldn't that be cool? How about making lots of experiments with, what do you call it, ionic silver, and see how much the human body can regenerate stem cells on its own, and, heal us up and make us like brand new again. That's what I'd be telling them. I'd be having all kinds of fun discussions with this guy. If I had a conversation with Rothschild, I'd be like, they'd be my buddy, man. Tell you the truth, you know what? But that's why I always click with aggressive Jewish guys. Always did. You say, I always click with them, man. I'd rather work for one of those guys for less money and work harder than work for a goy, because I click with them. How's that? And maybe I am working for a Jewish person right now. I'm working for Susan, right? Susan, whatever her name is, Hayward, whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'm working for her. I don't know. But, this is just something I just want to throw out here, because I was like, I didn't even know where I was going to go with this, when I started. But there is something way beyond what everybody's even thinking why the Caucasian race is being targeted. And I think it has to do with the human race is being led to quantum leaps in technology, but also you're looking at Caucasians don't like being ruled. You know, remember the Magna Carta? How'd they get the Magna Carta? They put the sword to the king's throat at running mead. Well, they're going to do that if there's any aliens having a freaking influence over what the affairs of this earth. You're going to have the biggest threat to them is the Caucasian race. I don't think it's like communists and liberals and whatever, socialists and all this garbage, or Soros, whatever. Soros, George. I can even bullshit around with him too, man. I have fun with him too. I would. I don't even want to, I don't even want to say what I'd say to him because it'd be too hot for YouTube, but it'd be something really wild, man. I don't give a crap, man. To tell you the truth, I don't give a crap. I got no problem with these guys, man. They don't bother me. And, I like Jesus. I think he's a great Jewish healer. I think he's very, very good guy. He's telling us how to act to people, and do unto others as you want them to do unto you, and blah blah blah. I don't know if he's the Messiah, and I don't know about the blood sacrifice. I don't agree with that stuff at all. I basically agree with the Jewish thing, but I think Jesus was great. I think he was great. But actually, I disagree with Jews too in some ways because I don't think there's ever going to be a Messiah. We are our own Messiah. Us. We make it happen. Don't wait for somebody to come in on a white horse and freaking fix it. I always saw that as the fatal flaw of the Jewish guy businessman, man. Somebody come in here and bullshit this guy, and I always see this, man. I always call him the BBBS, the big bucks bullshit. Like he's the savior. It's like, man, you can see how many times they saved these guys, man. But I'm a Confederate Rothschild, so what the hell can I say? I got DNA from Confederate and Rothschild. So that's a very unique combination. Not many people got that. Right? Anyway. Have a nice day, and I got my cat over here, Gold Digger, laying on a little freaking towel. I go, she's on the counter, man. This cat, man, she's freaking sticking on me like glue. I love these cats, man. These cats are okay. I'm like their higher being that's taking care of them or something. That's what I feel like. And anyway, if you believe in reincarnation, come back as a cat and I'll take care of you. Anyway, over and out.